Adjutant online. Building registered.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another G-Division StarCraft 2 Coliseum with me, Sebastian Sjöberg, and here on this beautiful Wednesday we see none other than, yes it is, SlayerSBoxer, the Emperor of Terran, hiding behind this very difficult to pronounce IED, fighting against none other than the French Protoss player ToD, member of the Team Millennium, which originally had nowadays Liquid Huck on its roster before he moved, and he has been making quite a name for himself, but not necessarily the best player out there. However, he is definitely one to be reckoned with regardless, and SlayerSBoxer, he's of course the legend above all others when it comes to StarCraft. He defined the genre. He is our Emperor, and this is part of the ongoing Stars War tournament. That's a tournament that does not get as much press as many of the others, like the recently concluded Team Liquid Star League, the North American Star League, or the GSL, for example. But it has so many great players, and they're fighting against each other in a country versus country sort of mode, rather than clan or as individuals. And here we see Korea versus France. And this is part of the ongoing qualifier Star Wars tournament that will take place. It's offline final in Shanghai, China, and it has a rich legacy in Brood War. So this is very exciting. It brings very interesting matchups that we wouldn't see otherwise. And here on Shattered Temple, the latest version of Lost Temple, we are destined to see an epic game take place because the Emperor is in it. Maybe we'll see some of his beautiful dropship play that we've come to know him for from ages old. We'll just have to see. Here we see him constructing a barracks and a very quick refinery at that before going away to scout, only to meet up and high-five with ToD's probe. ToD meanwhile has only placed the gateway and a refinery of his own. We'll just have to see what these players can come up with. This version of Shattered Temple, of course, or rather Shattered Temple is a version of Lost Temple, and the former island expansions are now very accessible, only guarded, so to speak, or obstacled by destructible rocks here in these two separate locations, and there's only one Sanaga watchtower in the middle. So it is a very classic incarnation of the original Lost Temple that we've seen in Brood War, as well as Warcraft 3 and of course StarCraft 2, and it brings some of the very best games to us. Here we see the Emperor being true to himself, already doing some unorthodox shenanigans, constructing a quick tech lab with his barracks, only to lift it off to build a reactor right away, and then building another barracks in its place after having produced one Marine. This was definitely nothing you want to do if you want to do some early aggression, but if you have some genius plans in mind, well, then this just might be exactly that. Now we see SlayerSBoxer's SV being chased out of ToD's base by first Zealot, and it's now built cybernetics core, upgrading warp gate research, per usual. The Emperor, meanwhile, has always been a great fan of money. Not only has he won so much and earned so much in his pro gaming career, he does like to expand in-game as well. A very quick expansion going up, and it seems like his opponent ToD is no worse. He will go for a fairly quick nexus as well. No further gateways being placed, so the early economy game rather than the early aggression will be the name of the game. And we do like that, because the longer it goes, the more epic it gets. We do appreciate that now, don't we? Over here in Boxerland, we see him going Marine Marauder, which will enable him to get a fairly quick balance of Marine Marauders out, something you don't normally see. It's either for defensive purposes or more likely for a mid-game push that has been ingeniously designed to hit a window in time when his opponent will be susceptible to precisely that. His opponent, meanwhile, is going for a quick robotics bay before the second and third gateway. That's what we call a free gate robo. Following that up with another assimilator, so it seems like Colossi production is not far away. That could of course easily be switched to Immortal production should the Marauder count for Boxer imply that strategic move from ToD's side. So quite versatile. Boxer, meanwhile, has already started to build his mid-game advantage by getting ahead in the upgrades. I wager that ToD will not be starting his own Forge upgrades anytime soon, so Boxer might get an early lead that will fit nicely in with his mid-game push that we see coming just here. And getting Stim Pack as well, so this could be dangerous for ToD. He sees it with his Zealots, reacts quickly and will be able to retreat. He's bravely retreating away. And now we see the first Immortal being constructed for ToD. 3 Marauders are enough to inspire that move in him. But with the Sentry up here, he should definitely be able to fortify his ramp. But that of course would leave his Nexus susceptible. So they will have to meet and fight if Boxer decides that's the right move. But given that he's attacking the Protoss base, his opponent would have the shorter supply line, and that could definitely spell the doom for his attack. He's now constructing his first factory, and an additional 2 barracks at that, so rather than trying to stomp his opponent into oblivion early, he will go for the beloved late game, it does seem like. Meanwhile, ToD, being no stranger to getting gas, is doing precisely that, and has yet to add any more gateways, though I'd imagine he will try to boost his macro ability and constructive ability very soon. Robotics Bay going down, so now he will resume the Colossus production that I'm sure was his original intention. Getting an observer out first, very smart. And now we'll see if Boxer will be able to do any damage with this early aggression. He has invested quite a lot in it, so he better make some damage happen, or just make sure to pin his opponent back while he out-expands him. He is of course very well versed in these matters and knows exactly what to do, but the difficulty is to predict exactly what that is, him being the Emperor and all. And if you are new to StarCraft 2, dear viewer, you surely have heard a lot about this Emperor for time and time again, and you may wonder, what does it all come from? Why is he so awesome? He doesn't win all the games, and he seems so, well, weird in his strategies. Well, he used to win all of those games, and he used to do that in a very creative and mind-blowing way, and he still does from time to time. I mean, TLO is somewhat of a modern incarnation of Boxer's style. Surely both of them would probably won more games if they had just played a bit more conventional and relied on solid mechanics, but they all win our hearts, whether they win or lose their matches, by being this way and coming up with strange stuff that maybe later will become standard. They are innovators and they are pioneers, Boxer, TLO and others, and that is why we love seeing them play. However, Boxer is nowadays not just a fighting StarCraft 2 player that definitely can hold his own. He's also the leader of the new StarCraft 2 team Slayers that we've seen perform very well in the GSL. So he's also a manager and has got a great eye for talent. Not unlike TLO in Stockholm, by the way. But I digress. Boxer here has dropped 2 medevacs full of units and will wisely retreat bravely away, seeing that his opponent ToD did not go for the bait. He sent out an expeditionary force to the front, hoping that ToD would go for that. Meanwhile, he would come in here and do some surgical damage, perhaps even take out the Nexus. ToD is defending very well. He's holding his own against the Emperor, and that is no mean feat. There's a great amount of psychology involved here. ToD is definitely aware that he is now fighting a legend, and that may very well put him off his play. Boxer now, seeing that he has map control, and at the very least he has put ToD on the defensive, has decided to take the high yield expansion. He's aware that ToD is taking this fairly protected lower right expansion, so he will have 1 up on him, if not 2 actually, yes. Boxer will do what he does best, out-expand an opponent that has the heebly-jeebies, that don't want to go out on the battlefield, so he will simply take the economic advantage and use the map control that he's got to the uttermost advantage. Meanwhile, look at the income tab. They're fairly even in harvesters, Boxer being slightly ahead. Add mules to that, that actually puts him quite well ahead, and when this high yield gets up, well, then he'll be way ahead. Unit-wise, we see 24 Marines, 5 Vikings, 2 Medivacs and 18 Marauders for our Emperor versus the 6 Zealots, 1 Immortal and 3 Fearsome Colossi versus a handful of Stalkers and Sentries. Again, it all looks like we'll have to go into the late game to see who the victor is here. Boxer being well ahead with the upgrades, already almost halfway through level 2 infantry upgrades, whereas ToD has only recently begun his own forge upgrades, getting a Twilight Council now that will surely result in Blink Stalkers, or he'll go straight for Templar Tech. That's always a very versatile option against a Terran player who goes for heavy infantry, which Boxer is definitely doing. I'm sure he'll be adding Ghost to that very soon, and he is no stranger to the battle cruiser either. He has been using them more or less efficiently several times, and he can be the one who does pull it off. Well, here, being well positioned into the mid game, we now see that Boxer is countering the growing Colossi threat of ToD. He's currently got 3 out and the 4th one on the way by getting ship weapons level 1 up. We sometimes see Terran player do this, but because that is exactly, it is just there to counter the Colossi. After that, the Vikings get more or less obsolete. But then again, the Colossi tend to return as long as the Protoss player is alive, so it's always a good thing to have strong Vikings in the air. But when it comes down to this, we'll soon see 200 fully maxed armies clash, and it's all about having the precisely right unit composition. Boxer currently got, is it 10 Vikings hanging in the air? Soon they'll have, make that 12 with 1 attack upgrade. That just may be a few too many, because of course that diminishes his ground force, which is the one that deals the bulk of the damage after all. And that means that if he doesn't get the composition quite right, ToD will be able to walk over him, even though his Colossi might die very quickly. Going battle cruisers on the other hand, that will make such a weapons upgrade double useful if he can pull it off. Now we see 4 Ghosts being built out of the massive construction facilities that Boxer got going. He's got 8 barracks here, and I'm sure he'll be adding on more and more as his expansions grow. Now going double gas here and already getting them there. Meanwhile, ToD is very close to getting maxed out, now taking down, or almost actually, and not quite managing to take down this annoying scouting factory for Boxer that will now be finally destroyed. And now they are both essentially maxed, and Boxer even using the economy surplus to go for a Mobius reactor. That is something we fairly rarely see. That is of course the energy upgrade for the Medivac that will enable them to simply heal more. And having already gone along that route, we'll have to assume that this bio army will clash with the Protoss army quite imminently. It's all about now who can do the right move, because the first one to attack, provided that is in a reasonable position, is likely to take an advantage that can be extended throughout the entirety of this match. But then again, the upgrade game is also important. Boxer is ahead and he wants to use that window while he still has the opportunity. Now we see Psystorm being almost completed for ToD. Boxer doesn't know that of course, but he wants to strike before it happens. Now he's clashing and beautiful EMPs going down, completely destroying the shields of all the Protoss units, and we see the Colossi go down immediately. But this is what I was talking about, ladies and gentlemen. There were too many Vikings in the air, not enough infantry on the ground, and we see the Stalker armies, the remaining Stalkers, being able to obliterate the Marauder forces, and the Vikings land pathetically, but what good does that do? They are obliterated. This is the crucial thing when going into the late game in any matchup, really, provided it's not a mirror, in which case it's even harder to figure out. But it's all about getting the precisely right composition, because otherwise, yes, you might take out his super units with yours, but you have to have enough cannon fodder left on the ground to mop up the rest. And Boxer simply was lopsided in that fashion. Now he is continuing with getting infantry and ship upgrades, and now ToD is well on the way to 2-2 and is getting Templars and Colossi, having now claimed his own high yield expansion. And Boxer, however, is not beat yet. He's built 2 command centers here. This will enable him to mule up quite unrestricted, and this is of course the strength of the Terran player. He can essentially get rid of his SCVs when it comes into the late game and simply rely solely on mules, and that will give him another 60-70 supply that he can pour into his army. Speaking of which, he's got as many as 3 Marines and 45 Marauders and 6 Medivacs at that, now building more Ghosts. He will need those ghosts for EMPs, they're absolutely crucial. Question is, will he be going for something crazy as nukes? We'll just have to see. His upgrades are about to finish, but the Protoss player is attacking. Beautiful Guardian Shields and Zealots with leg speed crashing into the Marauder army. We see feedback going down on the ghosts and Psystorm. This is just a slaughter, ladies and gentlemen. The Stalkers are mopping up the rest. Surely Boxer might be able to hold, or he will just perish right here, but this is definitely a severe threat to the Emperor. The Colossi finally goes down, and the reinforcement should be able to handle this, but the follow-up, it's all about the follow-up. This maybe turned out to be somewhat of a Pyrrhic victory. Only 6 Stalkers left standing, and now Boxer's reinforcements of evil Marauders will be able to pick the remaining forces of ToD apart. Though you have to definitely say that ToD won the momentum on that battle, and it seems like I missed a bit of dropship action right here. Boxer likely took out a bunch of probes here, mining for ToD, and that's definitely a major victory. Now going for ship weapons level 3 as well as cloak for his ghost. I'm sure he wished he had that so that he could avoid some of those EMPs that completely took away Boxer's ability to take away the shields of that attacking Protoss army. Now claiming this 12 o'clock natural expansion and having quite many mules at his disposal. None of the players are now near max, then Boxer is well ahead in supply. Looking at the income again, Boxer is indeed ahead. Those mules are making a hell of a lot of difference, and he also has a fairly similar amount of SCVs to the probes of ToD. Unit wise, we see that their armies are again growing into fearsome masses, but again they are all very far away from maxed right now. And only now is Boxer getting the concussive shells. This is a huge blunder, ladies and gentlemen. I did not realize this before. The very many now free upgraded Marauders of Boxer did not have concussive shells. They did not have the ability to stun the opponent's army. How did I not see it? How did Boxer not see it? This could very well have cost him some of those early battles that he could otherwise have turned into wins and been ransacking ToD's base already. This, ladies and gentlemen, is not a stroke of Terran genius. This is a blunder. Boxer now taking also the 12 o'clock main base, and is definitely keeping up with ToD's economy, even though he may have lost quite a lot more. Actually, they're fairly even in the units lost there, but never mind that. Boxer's now going for an attack here to high yield expansion, but it's getting obliterated by Psystorms. Archons are morphing, Archons are attacking. It's just a mess. Little giblets everywhere. This used to be a ferocious Terran army, now it's just mincemeat, and the Medivacs may even go down. Now it seems like he will save them. And ToD successfully defending, losing 1 Colossi. Now that he's got concussive shells, they go down so much more faster, but even so, that was a very unfruitful attack for the Emperor. He lost so much more than he gained, and the high yield expansion that still has got quite many minerals in it is very much ToD still to keep. ToD has managed to successfully throw back the Emperor 2 times, and here comes the prize. There is not a planetary fortress inside, even though the expansion is pretty much depleted. Still, losing an orbital is very crucial for any Terran player in the late game, and it seems like Boxer can do nothing to prevent ToD from ransacking it, but he will try nevertheless. 3 Vikings, they should be able to take down that expensive Colossi in no time. But as before, the ground army of Boxer is too inconsiderable. It simply does not amount to enough. And here come the Templars that can punish them even more so for... sorry about that again, ladies and gentlemen. And here we see the orbital finally going down for the Emperor. ToD winning yet another step on his way to the ultimate victory, having 1 and 2 fully mining. This is actually not fully saturated yet, but very healthy bases. This of course being a high yield, he will be able to stay in this game for quite some time. Now Boxer wisely making this new command center into a planetary fortress, and one pesky zealot gets quite a lot of SCV souls on his way to Valhalla. ToD now seeming intent on preventing Boxer from reinforcing his northern expansions, and he will try to take them out. But again, ToD is not invulnerable right now. If he loses this army, and he could do so in an instant if Boxer attacks from a superior position, he can lose it all. He's now expanding again down here to the south, but look at this expansion. It's completely unguarded unless ToD's highly mobile army can pin Boxer's forces back. It's a game of positioning, definitely. TVP is a matchup, especially when the Terran player goes infantry, which is the norm. A highly mobile matchup, and positioning becomes just as important a factor than as the actual armies and unit composition of them. These SCVs wisely retreat. They would have been obliterated, and that would have been a terrific win for ToD and a terrible loss for Boxer. Now these stalkers can avoid the fire from the planetary fortress, and they wisely do so. But here we see the army clash, and Boxer is definitely outmanned, perhaps never outgunned, but this will definitely not play in his favor. Now a pincer attack from the north. This Archon and Zealot were able to take the damage when the Stalkers and Colossi clash in and completely tear these forces apart, and a beautiful Side Storm on top of that, taking out the Medivac and taking away all the health of these poor Marauders and Lone Marines. And here we see 4 of 5, 6 ghosts standing around praying to be feedbacked or fedbacked if you're really anal about grammar. And these Stalkers successfully having taken out all the SCVs, just a lone planetary fortress guarding nothing. Boxer is on the ropes, ladies and gentlemen, and I hate saying that. I hate when it happens. I want to see the Emperor sit on his golden thrones of nerd skulls that he has claimed in battle. Oh, and a beautifully placed observer allowing ToD to see these cloaked ghosts, feedbacking them all the way to hell before they're doing any good. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the death blow. ToD has come to claim the title of Emperor for himself. Not that that is possible, there's only one Emperor and it will always be Boxer, but he will nevertheless be taken down in this game. ToD has showed that no matter what people say, he is a very good player to be reckoned with on the international scene, and he is now ransacking Boxer's base as a proof of precisely that. I don't know how much longer Boxer will stay in the game, but I am saying that this is it. Boxer is out-expanded, he is completely outnumbered, a 60 supply army to 154 one of ToD. It is not even funny anymore, and ToD is now sending forces to the north in order to deal with these, especially this completely unguarded base. And here 5 mules and 2 marauders are making sure that Boxer still gets some level of income, but his barracks are burning, and that's a sure sign of him losing. Now Boxer's got a few forces here, getting Side Storm just to prove my point, but he will never surrender, he will never give up. As long as he's got something that can shoot, he will do so until they are obliterated. But this is GG, ladies and gentlemen, and it's been a ferocious battle here on Shattered Temple. This reminds me of the old days, big 200 armies clashing, but even so the Emperor was bested today by the French Usurper. GG indeed. And this was from the Star Wars tournament. You will be able to see some really epic games from this ongoing tournament, and I will try to cast as many as possible, especially if it involves Boxer or other creationists. This has been a G Division StarCraft 2 Coliseum broadcast with me, Sebastian Sjöberg, and if you liked it, well, there will be a new one up tomorrow, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. Thank you so much for watching. GG for now.